All right, guys, welcome to the channel. I hope that you're having a lovely day. If you're watching this, it probably means that you genuinely want to stop consuming cannabis and that you're having a hard time doing so. Or you genuinely want to stop consuming some other substance, cannabis, alcohol, nicotine, stimulants, whatever it may be. And the 5 tips, these 5 unconventional reframes that I'm going to give you when it comes to stopping cannabis could really be applied across the board to stopping the use of any substance. And what I'm going to share with you today isn't something that you normally see talked about when it comes to quitting substances. Okay. This is like way out of left field stuff, but I hope that you understand it because what I'm going to share with you really, really works. And I just want to show you some proof of that. These are snapshots of conversations that I have with our one-on-one clients inside WhatsApp. And you can see in these conversations how effective this reframe methodology is. Okay, this person here is talking about how since quitting, it's dramatically improved their mental health, their confidence, their self-esteem. This person here is saying that they have now a new perspective and a new clarity on this topic of quitting cannabis that they've never had before. This person over here was just truly inspired by the information that we provided them with, right? You deserve every customer you get. This service is truly amazing. So I'm showing you this because this works. So I hope that you apply what I'm taking today and you don't just brush it off as another YouTube video about quitting cannabis. I hope that you really, really, really use it. And look, real quick, if you're new here, my name is Dr. Frank, and we offer a science-backed method that has a 98% client success rate at helping people quit nicotine and cannabis in as little as 48 hours. This method is designed specifically for high-performance individuals and high-level professionals who value privacy, who value doing this comfortably without disrupting their public life and public image and without relapse. To learn more, you guys can scan the QR code or check out the link in the video description, okay? Reframe number 1 is I want you to start to look at addiction as a gift. Addiction is only a negative experience if you learn nothing from it. So many times, people will talk to me and they'll be like, I feel so much shame and so much regret, and I wasted so much time in substance use. And I tell people, it was only a waste of time if this were to be the end of your story, if this was your final chapter. And right now, we're probably in the middle of your book, not at the end of it. So you still have the power and the capacity to turn this around into a net positive experience in your life, not a net negative experience. And I say this as someone who suffered relationship consequences, health consequences, and financial consequences of my substance use, okay? You can take away traits when you practice sobriety. You can learn discipline. You can learn delayed gratification. You can learn grit, the ability to get back up after you've been knocked down 1,000 times. And it's probably happened to you if you're watching this video today. You can learn patience. You can learn so many valuable things about yourself and develop so many valuable skills when you accomplish something that you didn't believe you were capable of accomplishing. I know this to be true because I could find other scenarios in your life where probably started off seemingly negative that turned into a net positive. Maybe this was the job that you got fired from only to find a better one, or the business that you started that failed only to have taught you things about business so your next business went on to be that multi-million-dollar breakthrough. It could have been a horrible breakup that you had with a significant other and you thought this was the love of your life, only to eventually meet that person that you truly loved, that person that you really wanted to spend your life with. Addiction is very much a learning experience. And when something is a learning experience, it is not a waste as long as you learn something. It is not a moral or ethical failure on your part. Your story's not yet over, and all too often I see people calling the game too soon. I want you to start to think of your journey as a stock. A lot of times what people will do is they'll take a snapshot of the stock, like in the center of this screen here, okay? Like right here. And they'll say, well, I was doing good, but now I kind of flatlined and I feel like I'm doing worse. And they're comparing their success of 1 week to the following week. They're not comparing their progress over the course of a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. If you were an investor, unless you were really good at day trading, which we've worked with a lot of day traders and investors, but unless you were really good at that, you'd be screwed. If you put your money in a stock and you pulled it out every time that stock dipped a little bit and you called it and you said, okay, the stock is going down, I'm pulling out my money, the company is a failure, you would never make money in stocks. You would never make money over the long run, okay, in investing. Sobriety is no different, and I want you to start to think of it that way. Stop comparing your success today to your success tomorrow. Look at it over the long haul, because you might really be missing out on an explosive curve of growth over time. I can't tell you how many companies start out and they have some logistics problems or a management problems or team problems. And then they fine tune those systems, they fine tune those problems, and then the stock just explodes. Your life, your sobriety journey is no different. Reframing addiction as a gift, it reveals to you the things that you truly value in life. Addiction showed me just how much I valued my relationships, my career, my financial well-being, my physical health, my mental health, and in my case, my faith. I don't talk about that a lot on my channel, but faith is going to be a hot topic for a lot of people. And addiction allowed me to rediscover those things. And it showed me just how much I was taking these things for granted. A lot of people will go through life never realizing what it is they truly value in life. They won't ever know. They go through life taking everything for granted. Addiction has the power to show you, to unveil to you the things in life that are really important to you, the things that you really value, because addiction stands to take those things away for a lot of people. Addiction is also a gift because it can be proof of what you are capable of accomplishing, and that thing is lasting change. A lot of people fear change, and we're going to talk about that in a moment, but a lot of people go through life and they never make lasting change. Sobriety could be that experience for you that proves to you that you are capable of doing that. Now, reframe number 2. I want you to start to use that fear that you're feeling to your advantage, okay? Because there's typically 2 sides of that fear that you're feeling. The fear of life without the drug, and then there's the fear of life with the drug. So what's my life going to look like? How am I going to cope? How am I going to relax? How am I going to unwind at night without cannabis? These are all the limiting beliefs, the pre-recorded tapes that we're playing in our heads that we have to dismantle. Then there's the fear of life with the drug. What are my relationships going to look like? What's my financial future going to look like? What's my business going to look like? What's my health going to look like if I keep doing this behavior? And oftentimes people get paralyzed by this fear on either side of the coin. And I want to tell you today that your beliefs, which are often limiting, are not facts. They're not factual things. And beliefs are extraordinarily powerful. Remember, beliefs start wars. They are that powerful. And your beliefs are no different. Your beliefs about yourself, they can either limit you or empower you. I had a gentleman recently that we started working with, a very high-level professional, an attorney, and they're drinking 20 to 30 drinks a day, okay? And although we don't work a ton with alcohol, we certainly have people who struggle with alcohol use disorder who work with us. And, you know, they want to detox at home, they want privacy, right? They don't want to go to meetings, all that stuff. We help with that. But this person had such fear of how am I going to cope with this high pressure job without drinking? How am I going to unwind at night? What am I going to do on the weekends? How am I going to face the health consequences that have inevitably built up since years of doing this, right? And I told them a lot of that fear is nothing more than a series of false expectations appearing real. You expect that you won't be able to cope. You expect that you won't be able to manage these health consequences. You expect that you're not going to be able to fix the business issues that have resulted in the relationship problems. It's a limiting belief that you're putting on yourself. And we have to move past that. Now, when I talk about using fear to your advantage, what I mean by that is that fear is a signal that lasting change is about to occur. We all fear change. And this is more often than not what fear is associated with. Think about major events in your life, the birth of the first child, your wedding day, the first time you moved into your new home or got a car or a new apartment and you didn't know how you were going to pay for it, right? All of these beautiful events that people go through in life are often associated with fear. I was fearful when I bought my first big house. I was fearful when I jumped into that new business pursuit. I was fearful when I got married. I was definitely fearful when I had my first kid. Now we're on way to number 2, probably going to have 3 or 4 of them. That fear is often associated with life's biggest changes and sometimes life's best outcomes. So fear, recognize it for what it is. It's a signal that your old beliefs, your old way of living, your old patterns of thinking are dying and that you're progressing. So learn to embrace that fear, recognize it for what it is, and get ready for some extraordinary change that you're entitled to in life. The more fear you feel, the closer you are to success more often than not, right? The fear of that big business deal going through and everyone's super stressful right before you're getting to that negotiating table and then you land that deal, you land that merger. Reframe number 3, assume this time will be different. So many people go into quitting substances and they look back to past quit experiences. I went to a rehab. I tried Alan Carr's books. I worked with a therapist forever. And I tried all these things too. A lot of clients that we work with tried all these things too. And it's like nothing worked for me. So why am I going to succeed this time? I'm going to tell you why. Because you are inherently a different person than you were yesterday. All right. You're inherently different. Therefore, because you are inherently a different person than you were yesterday, because you've gone through a full 24 hours of experiences and life cycles and things like that, this experience in quitting is going to be inherently different for you than it was last time. This quit experience is its own unique experience in and of itself. So please don't base your future success on past failures or past quit attempts or experiences, because you're doing yourself a disservice. You are not the person that you were yesterday, a week ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. Okay? I want you to go into quitting with the assumption that life is going to provide you with the tools, the people, the support, and the experiences you need for success. You are inherently different right now, if you're still watching this, than you were when you started this presentation today on YouTube, than when you started this video today. Assume success, not failure, because your beliefs become your reality. If you go into this thinking this is going to suck, it's going to suck. If you go into this experience saying this is going to be awesome, there's a good chance this is going to be awesome. And I'll tell you, time and time again, people think, how can you make quitting a drug an awesome experience? You can with the correct framing, with the correct belief systems installed. And again, if that sounds like something that appeals to you and you're a high-level professional and you value privacy, you value comfortably doing this at home, you value doing this efficiently without disrupting your public life and image, and you want to quit in real time, in real life, not in some fantasy world, we have a science-backed method that has a 98% client success rate at helping people quit in 48 hours, in some cases even less. Okay? I put a link in the video description in the pinned comment. Reframe number 4. You are worth it. Okay? The fact that you exist proves your worth. You inherently have some worth. And I know in the motivational speaking space, that's not a common message, that you got to prove your worth and you're a guy and you got to be tough and you're a girl and you got to prove, right? No, like you were born and the odds of you existing were 1 in 400 trillion. You've already beat the odds to 1 in 400 trillion. Your existence proves your worth. You are not here by accident. You're not watching this by accident. I am telling you, based on this alone, you have the power to overcome a lifeless plant, a lifeless drink of alcohol, a lifeless cigarette, things that have no life force to them. They're not sentient beings. They can't manipulate you. They can't force you to do anything. They don't hijack your body and your brain. It's all been BS. It's all BS, that messaging. And hopefully today I'm helping you see past that. You're worth it. Make the most of your existence because you can. Tip number 5, redefine withdrawal. Okay. Withdrawal does not have to be a painful experience. The pain experience in active withdrawal is dependent upon your own interpretation of pain, and everyone interprets pain differently and the experience of pain differently. Withdrawal can very much be a signal of growth in detox. It's a signal that your body is healing and doing what it needs to do, that your brain is recalibrating. Withdrawal is the death of your old system of beliefs and the start of something new. Pain and pleasure are highly dependent upon your own perception of life's experiences. They've done studies on people where they put them in stressful situations, painful situations, and they've had them frame those situations as not negative things, as good things. And shocker, those people handled those situations better than people who had the opposite framing, that pain and stress were bad things. Framing and beliefs matter so much, especially when it comes to substance use. And this is the stuff that's not normally talked about. This is the stuff that we teach people. A rainy day for one person can ruin their day. And yet for another person, a rainy day could be a day of pure bliss and relaxation. It's all about your beliefs in your framing. There's a new version of you that exists tomorrow that was never addicted to cannabis and nicotine, because every minute, every hour, every day, you're becoming a new version of yourself. And that version of you was never addicted to cannabis or nicotine. This is a complicated topic, okay? But I hope it makes sense. There was an old version of you that was. Literally, by the end of this sentence, boom, you're a new version of you. And you never have had to been addicted to cannabis or nicotine. You can simply become someone who does not use those substances, like this. Each moment, you're a new person who's rewriting their history that should probably say with a new future, not with a new history. Well, technically with a new future, but also with a new history, because as you go forward into your future, you're also carving out a new history for yourself. So I guess that makes sense. I hope this helped you guys out. If it did and you thought it was awesome and you found this was valuable, I want you to follow me right into the next video where you can actually see me live taking a phone call, working with someone one-on-one who felt hopeless when it came to quitting cannabis and getting out of addiction. All right, I'll see you there.